Hey Sam, how are you?
I'm busy reading King of Sorrow, and I've got to tell you, I'm becoming a fan. For the benefit of our viewers, just give us a brief synopsis.
Well, very briefly, it's about a guy who wants to sell his company. It's a property company, and what he doesn't realize is that someone has actually stolen about 300 to 400 million rand from the company. And as soon as the sale goes through, this will be sort of in the open, and he doesn't want that to happen.
Okay, let's talk about the characters here, and that was quite brief, and I'm glad that you haven't given a lot away, so you're going to have to buy this book to get the gist of it. So, I love Karen. Karen is an everyday single mom who's struggling to make ends meet, but there is something really amazing about her character, and it's weird how Karen and David seem to have the same personality embodied in different genders.
Absolutely. I wanted them to come from completely different ways of life, and I wanted them to come together in this reluctant meeting. And I was very careful to shape it that way. And I hope it worked out at the end from a reader's point of view, that it's still engaging, but not too familiar to everyone else.
It's almost a broken prince meeting his princess. It's almost a fairy tale in many ways,
yes,
in the back of all of this corporate drama.
Absolutely. I wanted a white-collar crime feel. My previous novel was the gritty drug world in Cape Town, so this was quite a step in a different direction. So I really wanted it to be a little bit more clever, a little bit more sort of business-like. And I thought it was a good idea to introduce a slight romance angle as well. And to have these two different characters come together like that, it was just meant to be.
Now, there's a list of characters that could be the antagonist to this. We'll get to what you slug the antagonist.
Yes.
But there's a list of characters in the boardroom that you introduce us to, and it could be any of them. How difficult was it to create that very different personalities? Because we're not really talking about Sindiwe, David's biggest rival in terms of the company that he started as well. He finds out he's got 3 months to live. I don't know if I'm giving it away. But how different was these characters and finding those little nuances here?
Well, it was very difficult because you need to very quickly introduce characters and you need to make them suspects. So I spoke to a lot of different authors in groups and readers and things like that. And I really call the bad guy the antagonist. For most of the book, this character is called the antagonist. So I can't really give away anything else. So when I introduce people who are suspects, I need to do it very quickly, and I need to be sort of ambiguous about it. I can't give away too much information. And I hope, again, that worked out well.
Okay, how controversial was it slugging the bad guy, the antagonist? What was the reaction? Because all of that is he's got no name, he's got no defining characteristics, so you can't attach him to any of the other people you've been introduced to in the beginning of the book. You kind of have to read this book to find out who the antagonist is.
So as an author, I frequent coffee shops to study people. So that's sort of the psychiatry of it. I sit and watch people. I record characteristics, unique things, and every single time I see something which is unique, I use that into a character, and I try to make it part of that particular character. When I shape the antagonist, I really write him from the beginning of his flaw all the way through to where it is made, in its fruit, where this guy really becomes a bad guy. So I had to explain the whole process from being a normal person to a very bad guy. And again, I had to sit in coffee shops all the time and just sort of get all this information out of people walking by, sitting there, drinking coffee, see a little thing they're doing, and I record that.
Okay, so let me talk to you about this character balance here. You created Karen and David, who are very similar. They're both struggling with their lives. They're both dealing with reality that they don't want. They want an alternative reality to the one they're currently living in. David is working towards it. He's busy selling his company. Karen has the same dream. She thought she had a path. She's lost her way. So you have these two characters. Then you have David and Sindiwe, who are the opposite in terms of business. Almost a knight in shining armor, and the other one is a villain. Why these complementary characters and then this extreme?
Well, you see, the book was about the South African crime industry and the corruption within the industry. So that immediately brings out this huge abundance of characters. When you look at the title of the book, for instance, you'll see it's King of Sorrows, which has got a little bit of a play on what happened in the King Property Group, where billions of rands missing. Then you add into a situation like that. Let's say you take that story and you add into that something like what happened with the whole Kretschmer dilemma that's currently also still there. If you use those two angles, now you've got a property industry with a lot of money going missing. You've got a crime involvement, and then you've got other business owners also being corrupt. So you need to shape the characters around that. So Sindiwe just naturally he just grew into this very villainous sort of character. But again, that also is something that needs to be played in full.
Why is David so generous? Why did you make him so generous?
That is the thing. If you look at David's character, I wanted him to still have flaws as well. I only hint at his past life where you would see that he did have a bad side in him as well. Then again, he grew up in the foster system, if I can say that, where he grew up without parents. So he grew up in a place where he had to fight for everything that he had. And to be generous is a result of that. He wants to give because he had to fight for whatever he had. So I think that was a compliment to his past or whatever he endured when he was growing up.
James, we're going to leave it there, but we are going to urge everybody to go and get a copy. It's a great little read if you want to get more a sense of the corporate drama and hostage takeovers and a little bit of a love twist. King of Sorrows is definitely your book. That was author James Fouche joining us from our Cape Town studio.